Over the years, I've had to wear some pretty uncomfortable costumes for my videos. This is one of those. In 1963, Jim Henson wanted to do a Christmas special. It was going to be about the evil witch Tamanella Grinderfall and her plot to kidnap and replace Santa so she could rob the houses. Now, this story never went through, especially after Tales of the Tinkerdy was never sold. It was reworked for about 7 years, until finally the Ed Sullivan Show decided they wanted to run with it. Instead of Tamanella Grinderfall, it was instead going to be about a magician named Cosmo Scam. Now, Jim had been on the Ed Sullivan Show many times. This wasn't even his first Christmas thing on the show, but instead of a 5-minute sketch, this was going to be an hour-long special. And that would be the rarely seen Christmas special, The Great Santa Claus Switch. The story takes place on Christmas Eve. Santa is getting ready for his big trip around the world with the help of his elves.
We're Zippity, Skippity, Hoppity, Ding Dong, and Fred.
In a nearby cave, however, lives the evil magician Cosmo Scam with his team of evil creatures known as the Frackles. Now you may notice that these Frackles look familiar. Well, most of the characters in this special would later go on to be part of The Muppet Show, especially the one named Snarl, who lives in the cigar box. Any fan of the Muppets will quickly recognize that little creature as Gonzo. Dave Goelz liked the character so much that he reworked him and turned him into the lovable lunatic we all know today. Cosmo's plan is exactly the same as Jim originally had for Tamanella. He wants to kidnap and replace Santa so he can fly around the world and rob all of the houses. He is successful in kidnapping Santa with the help of Thig and Thog, but the elves are quick to notice that this isn't Santa Claus.
They really think you're Fred?
Santa?
Yeah.
I don't think that's Fred.
He didn't think that was Fred.
Zippity, Skippity,
Hoppity.
Bing bong.
And gloat. I mean Fred.
Along with being the first appearance of Gonzo and the Frackles, this was also the first time Richard Hunt and Fran Brill worked with the Muppets, and would go on to become two of the biggest and most well-known Muppet performers. So what do I like about the Great Santa Claus Switch? This is a really unique idea. Instead of Cosmo wanting to steal the toys, he wants to rob every single house. There are only 4 songs in this special, and even though they aren't too catchy, they are enjoyable and nice to listen to. Now, one of the highlights of the Great Santa Claus Switch is Art Carney's performances as both Santa and Cosmo. He does a great job just keeping these characters, no pun intended, polar opposites. Thankfully, unlike a lot of Christmas specials, it's not played completely to, "Oh, this warms my heart, but I didn't laugh any." No, this one goes more for the comedy, and I appreciate that. The best word to describe this special is unique. Maybe not so much on the Santa side of things, but Cosmo Scam, there's so much cool stuff to look at, whether it be the characters or just the cave in general. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the designs in Fraggle Rock were inspired by this. Heck, they even sound similar. Fraggle, Frackle, Fraggle, Frackle. Okay, so there's obviously a lot to like about the Great Santa Claus Switch, but what do I not enjoy? The Frackles can be pretty creepy, especially towards the end. As I've said in other videos, every kid is different. What might not scare one kid might terrify another. But my biggest problem, and not surprising, is why isn't this on DVD? Now, what I've heard from a lot of people is it's copyright issues, you know, who owns all of this? Is it the Ed Sullivan Company? Is it the Jim Henson Company? Right now, though, the only way to see it is on YouTube and the Pally Center for Media. Overall, I find the Great Santa Claus Switch to be fun and unique. You know, it's not the best Christmas special. It's not even the best Muppet Christmas special, but it's one that is worth seeing at least once a year. It's a shame that this special is so unknown, and hopefully someday it'll get the recognition it deserves. So if you're looking for something unique and fun to watch this season, I highly recommend the Great Santa Claus Switch. Next time on Muppetational Christmas, we're gonna jump all the way to this year and look at the latest Muppet movie, Muppets Most Wanted.
When his baby starts to yell and holler,